Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 4 of the Dental Marketing Podcast. My name is Adam Roseland with Webodontics.com. Webodontics helps create new patients so you can focus on creating new smiles. To get your free practice listing on Webodontics.com, visit webodontics.com/directory and input your information and we'll get it right up. So a quick news note before we get started in today's subject is, according to Time Magazine, the free marketing gravy train is over on Facebook. And really what that means is, over the past couple months, Facebook's been reducing the amount of organic reach of its business pages. A recent study found that companies' postings dropped from reaching 12% of their followers in October to just 6% by February. In an effort to really command more marketing dollars from its advertisers, Facebook's planning to drop their business pages' organic reach to as little as 1% of its fans. So it's really becoming more important to find other methods of marketing rather than just doing social updates on Facebook. So I thought that was pretty important. On to today's subject. Today's subject is going to be email for dental practices and orthodontists. And I hope nobody gets offended when I say dental. I try and encompass all dental fields, not just individuals. So if I say dental, I'm talking about orthodontists, prosthodontists, cosmetic dentists, family dentists. It's all just dental, and I hope I'm not offending those, because I know certain people take a little bit of offense when I just say dental. So you're probably saying to yourself, how does email marketing work, and why should a dental practice be doing it? So let's address first what's in it for you. Email is the purest form of permission marketing and one of the most effective ways to grow your practice and grow your business effectively. It's the only channel of online communication that remains private and provides a direct communication to your prospects. And the cost is minimal, and the time you'll invest is significantly less than any other marketing tactics. Now, how do you do it? In order to be successful, you need to move prospects through a funnel to become clients. They must first open your email. Next, they must read what you wrote. And finally, they need to take action. So let's dissect these 3 steps. The first, again, being getting prospects to open your email. Simple subject lines win. The shorter, the better. I always say avoid punctuation, which means that you don't want to put periods, commas, question marks, or exclamation points. If you need to, use a question mark if you're asking a question, because that's not always the worst thing, but generally try to avoid punctuation. Keep free, save, and any other financial lures out of your subject line. Again, you want it to be short and to the point, because really what you're looking to do is get people to open it. Including a number is always effective. Numbers like 8 or 234 act as a roadblock for wandering eyes as they scan through their inbox. By the way, I just randomly picked those numbers at 8 and 234. You could use any number at all. Be unique. Use unusual, even bizarre vocabulary to heighten curiosity. And really, again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get people to open it up. And if it's very bland, generic headlines, then people aren't going to do it. One thing I always suggest is sign up for other people's emails. That way you can learn what is good and what isn't. A side note here is decide whether you want emails to come from your practice or from you as the doctor. I personally always suggest using your name, and once people know who you are. And also no updates at, or no reminders at, or anything at, except your name for the email address. People don't want to see it from info at, or again, updates at. Make sure it's coming from Dr. Roseland at, or Dr. Bob at, or just simply Adam at. So the next topic is content of the email, and it needs to be interesting. Like I said earlier, curiosity makes people click. So your content needs to make people curious. Be clear about what you're saying. Don't overwrite. Once you're done writing, go back and edit it. In fact, when you send your next email, try to cut the content in half. So write up what you think you need to say, and then try and cut that down in half. Use names. Everyone's favorite word in the English language is his or her first name. Readers will be more engaged and trusting of messages in which their name appears. Gather your readers' names and use them as often as possible. Your email service makes it extremely easy to do this when you're gathering names. Don't automate your greeting, though, or use the same dear so-and-so with every single message. I always say switch things up a little bit. Good morning, greetings from your local orthodontist is a good way to intro occasionally, or just do something to make sure it's not something that people are going to snooze as soon as they start reading. Don't use a template. This is far too generic and impersonal. Readers, always know what you've done when you put together a template, and you want to try to avoid that whenever possible. Use first and second person a lot. This means using words I and you. You're writing to real people, not an impersonal crowd. So you is one of the things people pay attention to. It's actually one of the most persuasive words in the English language. So use you as often as possible. Another tip is to write like a person, not a dentist. I know so many people get caught up with who they are and thinking that they have to be professional. You want to show your personality when you're writing. People like to do business with people. So be funny. Don't be a jackass. You're still a professional at the end of the day. So, that's something that, you have to remember is you're going to be putting your hands in somebody's mouth. And so you want to always remain professional, but it doesn't mean that you can't be humorous, you can't inject personality. It doesn't have to be clinical at all times. So again, write like a person, not like a dentist. Don't waste readers' time. Only write when you actually have something truly important to say, something that you can add value with. Provide helpful, useful, valuable information to the reader whenever possible. Another trick that I think is fun is reward your audience for reading. So offer something of value at the end when possible. Just something to say, thanks for sticking around. I think it's always a fun little trick. And finally, getting them to call, click, or visit for a consultation. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the whole purpose of what your emails need to be, is get people to engage you. So when you're writing your content, don't just sell your services. Sell the benefits of your services. For example, straight teeth are your service, but the benefit would be catching that coworker's eye with a dazzling smile, or being able to stand in front of an audience and not being afraid to smile. Those are benefits, not just saying straight teeth, because straight teeth are great, but that's a feature, not a benefit, and you always want to sell with benefits. Including a deadline can also be very effective. Otherwise, people just are lazy and they tend to procrastinate. A deadline creates urgency and induces a faster response. For instance, this week only, free x-rays with any consultation. Obviously people are going to catch on if you do the same deadline every single week or every month. So obviously you want to mix that up a little bit, but using some kind of deadline actually will induce a quicker response. Tell readers what they're going to miss if they don't take action. So when you use that deadline, let people know about the drama, the problems, the headaches they'll avoid by not waiting and by using your services. And of course, have a clear call to action. Don't mix up your messages. Try to keep your message focused on one call to action. If you want people to call, tell them the phone number and tell them to call now. But if you tell somebody to click on this link and then another spot says call now and then another thing says go back and visit this page, it's just confusing and people won't remember if there's multiple calls to action. You can have two usually, but I always say to be most effective, use one. And once again, remember that email is a very pure form of permission marketing, and it's an effective way to grow your practice. It's a direct communication that's private and allows you and your prospect to speak one-on-one. The cost is very, very low, and usually the time invested generates tremendous ROI. And it's across all industries, it's one of the most effective marketing tactics out there, and most efficient. So, like I mentioned as one of the tips, for those of you listening to the end here, here's your little bonus. Here are 5 successful ways to hook a website visitor into giving you their email, because it's not always easy to get people on your email list. So the best ways that I would recommend for you to get people on your email list are to write a white paper or an ebook. Compile 3 to 5 blog posts if you've written them that discuss similar topics and combine them into a white paper or ebook. And you can also write a white paper or ebook from a previous research study or data set. If you're not looking to go into that direction, the second tip would be a tip sheet. You can write a tip sheet that outlines how people could use your service to help them with their problem or their need. For example, a tip sheet on how to determine if Invisalign is right for your team. Another good way to hook people is using the top 10 industry trends. Document the 10 latest trends impacting your industry this year. Write a short summary on 10 new industry developments, or write what you think will be the 10 biggest changes to the dental industry during the next year. I always love to use questions. So there's number 4 would be common questions. Write down the 10 or 20 questions you most commonly hear and create a tip sheet or guide that answers each question. I would then follow up and actually make sure that's an FAQ on your website so that you don't have to answer those questions as often as you do. And the final way would be doing case studies. Show off your best work. Show before and after photos and write a bio about the person, what their situation was, what they were concerned about, what they liked about your services, and really give as much information as you can. Record testimonials, video testimonials for even more content and to build credibility, and offer the case studies as free downloads if there aren't any privacy concerns. But at the end of the day, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust, and they want to see people like them doing business with you. So the more you can share experiences from people like them, like your prospects, and show that you're a great person to do business with, they're gonna want to try and do business with you as well. And if nothing else, they'll at least give you an email to try and get on get that information, and you can then have them on your email list. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you're having difficulties landing new patients, you're not alone. Webodontics helps dentists and orthodontists across the country win more patients. If you need help with building unique websites that you own, not lease like some other companies out there, if you need mobile and micro websites, landing page creation, pay-per-click advertising, search engine optimization, email marketing or blogging services, call or email now for a free evaluation of your marketing processes. My phone number is 267-225-3344. Again, 267-225-3344. And my email is adam@webodontics.com. That's WEBODONTICS.com. Thanks for investing your time today to help build your dental practice.